BEOWULF Age of Heroes.
Hello! It's been a little while. Things have been very busy, so we've skipped a couple of weeks. Just a short episode this time around. It is about playing BEOWULF Age of Heroes with more than one player. Of course, the game has been sort of designed primarily for play with one GM and one player, but you can also play with a group, which I will be talking about with Jacob just shortly in this episode. In the meantime, let's talk about what's been going on in between. So, I'm not sure if during the last episode we had released Witches and the Worm, which is a bonus adventure which I've written. That is out now on DriveThruRPG, and it's doing very nicely. Thank you to everyone that's picked that up, and I hope our backers who got it free for being backers are enjoying that. What else has been going on? So we took delivery of the very first copies of BEOWULF Age of Heroes. Check out that spot UV. How beautiful is that? And we've got the limited edition. There's only 100 of these. There's a couple spare after the Kickstarter, so maybe you'll be able to pick one up if you would really like to get one. Next week we will be releasing Seven Stones, which is a new adventure for BEOWULF Age of Heroes. We've shown off the cover to that. Might be out by the time you watch this. We shall see. Go and have a look at DriveThruRPG. You can find out lots more about BEOWULF Age of Heroes at handiwork.games, just because my glasses are very wonky there. Yep, handiwork.games/BEOWULF. You'll find out a load more information, and there are little subcategories for all the different things that we've put out. Don't forget the BEOWULF dice. They are on pre-order. There are just a few left of the special edition, which comes with a signed card from myself and Paul Bourne. The BEOWULF dice are these beautiful, large size D20s, and there's one for each alignment and a hero D20. We use a slightly different alignment system in BEOWULF Age of Heroes if you're not already aware of it. Don't forget to grab the Hermit Sanctuary if you think BEOWULF Age of Heroes is something you would like to play. The Hermit Sanctuary is free on DriveThruRPG. It is a full-length adventure, absolutely free, any award nominated. Go grab that, give it a play, see what you think. I would like to think it's quite a beautiful piece of work, worth your time, and absolutely free. Yeah, let's get on with the show. So this is about playing BEOWULF Age of Heroes with not with just one player, with more than one player. Normally you play it with one player, more than one player.
BEOWULF Age of Heroes.
So the next section is more than one player. This is just a set of rules and advice for you if, instead of playing a duet game with BEOWULF Age of Heroes, you want to go ahead and introduce more than one player to the action, which is perfectly fine. And we have basically break it down into about 3 different categories. If you're just adding, maybe one other person, so you're going to play 2 players, 1 GM, then you go ahead and use the hero class as it is, and maybe just say, hey, everybody has half as many followers as normal. So that way the total number of followers is the usual average amount, but half of them belong to one hero, half of them belong to the other hero, and that works out pretty well. The other thing you can do is you can use the hero class and just, instead of taking some of the first level bonuses, like those extra hit points that we give you, just do the normal 5e specification. 8 hit points plus your constitution modifier, and then, because there's going to be 3 or 4 players spreading out the damage from the monster, that'll work out okay. The other thing that you might want to do is you might want to also bring in a class from a different source, either the core rulebooks or something else that you found that says, hey, I think this would be really cool if we could play such and such in the world of BEOWULF. And that's okay too, not a problem. And I know, John, you've got some friends that are doing this in the second category. They're playing heroes, but they are doing it with lower hit points, and I think they're going pretty well. I keep hearing about them being very scared for their lives, which is a good thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, no, I think they're having a really good time. It's interesting. They're playing in a very slightly later time frame, so it's much more of a Viking Age thing, which is cool because very simple step. I mean, you don't need to change anything to change that kind of time frame. All the equipment and everything is very much the late Saxon era and the Viking era overlap. So there's no difficulty there, and of course the language of Beowulf the poem is not so dissimilar from the Icelandic sagas and so on. So it's all nice. But yeah, they're having a great time. I think they're really enjoying it, which is good. Good to hear. It's totally doable. I think this must be the most commonly asked question. Actually, is can I play it with a full group? And it's like, yeah, cool. You can.
Alrighty. So, and then we go into a couple answers for rules type questions. If you don't have any followers, what happens when a follower gets killed or spent or whatever? And we just make you pay a little bit from your character, like, for example, losing a hit die or maybe temporarily crossing off a feature or what have you. Again, to represent the idea that some amount of your resources is no longer available to you for whatever reason. So we just kind of do that to the character as opposed to the follower. And then we talk a little bit about balance, such as it exists in 5e, such as it exists in Beowulf. We know that a regular hero with all the special things and the followers all told together does just about as good as a standard OGL party of 4. So that you can use that to kind of take a look at what you're doing, depending on how many players you've got, and figure out what will be a good challenge for them.
It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's good. I mean, this section of the book is one column plus a tiny little bit of another column. It's very well done, Jacob. It's very well put together. Because this could be one thing that worried me in development was that we were going to have to spend a lot of pages on how you tweak the game to play it with a full group. Because you can easily imagine it going that way. That you need to change this, you need to change that. But this is a really good piece of work because it just doesn't need all that. You've got your 3 classifications for different types of multiplayer game. Yeah. And it all works very neatly, doesn't it? The sort of followers thing lifts out beautifully.
There was, to get into a little bit of the sausage making, there was some really important conversations that we had fairly early on, and I remember being fairly adamant that the followers could not interact with the class in terms of like actual mechanics. And the reason for that was this right here, was that we can lift followers out painlessly without having to say, that your ability that you got at 5th level, you have to go change that, or whatever.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. It's an interesting question, isn't it? If you're engaged in that activity that we love so much, that is messing about with 5e, it's really interesting where the sort of fuzzy, soft boundaries between different areas of the rules, where you or where you actually want them to interact more than would happen in regular 5e. You might want to tie things together. Like alignment we've made work much harder across a whole bunch of different areas. But then there are other groups of rules you don't want to sort of bleed out onto other things. That was nasty. That said bleed out onto other things, not into other things. It's not a nice. It's just a change of one word. Suddenly all a bit sinister. But yeah, it's. I find it really fascinating. I've been really militant recently in my love of 5e. I think it's really good. I know it's not. It doesn't do everything for everyone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's the universal rule system. I still have my other loves of role-playing games, but gosh, it's a well-crafted machine, is old 5e, and it's really fun to tinker with.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get very frustrated sometimes online with people who are, saying, it will not work for X setting because of, Y and Z reasons, and Y and Z are very modular, and they came up very easily, and I didn't include them at all. So,
Yeah.
it's just people's expectations can be really strange sometimes.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? And I mean, we're all, without getting into too much general conversation about role-playing games, I think maybe we're all quite keen to be defined by the games we play, which I think maybe can be a mistake, because you can end up in an argument with somebody for no benefit whatsoever, and it's just a game, do you know what I mean? And people like different things. It doesn't have to be the defining characteristic of your personality, which role-playing game rules set you like the most. But I do, yeah. But I think 5e is really good.
Very good.
I realised I was heading towards with that sentence. But yeah, no, really interesting. And I really like the way, this really, to circle back round to my point, I think that the fact we could just lift out followers, and the fact that we can make a game that is very much dedicated to duet play, but that can also be played with multiple players really quite easily. It speaks to the brilliance of 5e, I think.
Yes.
As unpopular apparently as this is to say, apparently I'm supposed to be being bullied for liking 5e so much. I've missed that. But oh well, oblivious.
Yep.
Goodness me. Yeah, cool. So it's really nice that you can totally play Beowulf Age of Heroes multiplayer.
Excellent. Very good. Cool.
Cool.
All right, well, I think that's it for more than one player.
Beowulf Age of Heroes.
That's it for this week. Just a nice, short, sweet one. That's a very short section in the book because I think it's really quite elegant, as you will have heard me talking about. So, join us next time where we really start to get into some of the super cool stuff. The next section is all about followers, which is the real secret sauce of duet play in 5e in Beowulf Age of Heroes. Don't forget to check out all our stuff on Drive-Thru RPG. Pre-order some Beowulf dice. They should be arriving with us this weekend, I do believe. It will be interesting to see how much import duty we get to pay on those in this new Brexit reality. We shall see. Beautiful Beowulf dice, of course, being made by Q Workshop, our friends in Poland. Looking forward to getting my hands on those. They're absolutely stunning. Check them out on our web store. And we'll do all that, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Beowulf Age of Heroes now that it is about to be available, not as a pre-order or just a PDF, but as a print book. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Beowulf Age of Heroes.